Hello and welcome to Sylvan Mist Designs. Okay, now let's get real and talk about something that drives me absolutely crazy. I've never been able to find a video that either gives real tool sizes, explains the actual pattern, or lays out the rules for the absolutely most important part of the mandala, the center. No matter what terms I've searched, have you also noticed that a lot of these videos where they make these beautiful centers, they're silent. They don't have any text overs, and there's absolutely no indication of the actual tool sizes that they're using. Oh, or even worse, the actual how-to is locked behind some kind of paywall. So yeah, today I'm just gonna give it to you. Here are the 4 secrets to making a mandala look stunning. First up, we're gonna go with the 8th rule. So this is gonna be only for your very first row. If you want your center to look really professional and those little tiny hugger dots, the first row that surrounds your larger center, this row of dots should be exactly 1/8 the size of your center. For example, if I'm going to use an 8mm tool for my center, then my first row is going to be 1mm. Now, this is really going to be the difference between a design that looks nice and tight and one that looks more loose and messy. So let's go with something that you probably have already figured out. It's more or less common sense, and I think the same way that most of us beginners started anyways. The step up. You just go up one size in your kit for each row. And maybe if you have tools that move up in 0.5mm steps, you're just gonna follow that. So you're either gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., or maybe 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. I mean, this absolutely works, but when you're finished, you might step back and be left wondering like, it doesn't look like the pictures, right? It doesn't look like the Instagram, and it doesn't look like the Pinterest photo that I'm copying. You may not even be able to pinpoint exactly why that is. Now, if you want to get a little bit more sophisticated here and you want to see something that looks like the flowers in nature, right? Because really, this next one is that flower look. This is what nature uses, and we're mimicking it essentially. It's called the bloom. So again, we're always going to use the 1/8 rule. Take your tool size and multiply that first tool by 1.5, and that's going to be your next row. Then multiply that number by 1.5 again, and so on and so forth. So let me back up a quick second and give you a quick tip here. If the math on this is going to give you a weird number, right? Let's say you start with 1 and you're going to do 1.5 and 1.5 again, and you're going to end up with a weird number like 2.25. Always round up to the next 0.5 tool. You're going to want these dots to grow, and you're going to want them to grow fast enough to fill up your space, and so the pattern ends up looking very lush and very full. If you don't do that, if you're going to use the same tool size, or maybe even if you go down, so let's say you end up with 2.25. Instead of using a 2.5, you use a 2. What you're going to find is that your dots are going to have much more space between them. They're going to be spread thin. All right, this is the real nature's code, Fibonacci. You're already familiar with this, and you may not even know. This is nature's secret code. It's how seashells and sunflowers grow exponentially. Now for this one, it's a little trickier. So let me see if I can explain this, and I'm going to put this on screen. You want to add the last 2 rows together to get your next size. Simple enough. Let's say we're going to go back to that initial example. I have my center dot as an 8. My first row then is going to be a 1. You will take that 1 and add 0 because as of yet, there isn't a previous row. There is nothing yet to work with. So we are doing 0 plus 1 equals 1. This does mean that you will have the first row and the second row both as a size 1. You want to take row 1 and row 2 and add them together. So that's going to be row 1 is 1, row 2 is 1, so 1 plus 1 is 2. Then we're going to take row 2 and add it to 3. That's 1 plus 2 equals 3. Then we're going to do row 3 and 4, which is 2 plus 3 equals 5. Then we're going to do row 4 and 5, which is 3 plus 5 equals 8, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you're going to end up in that scenario with 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. The pattern does explode very quickly. It is accelerating outward, and it's honestly kind of hypnotic. Now, we've got all the math out of the way, but before we finish this video, I do need to point something out regarding tools. Flat tools versus round tools. Flat-headed and round-headed tools are not the same, okay? Their millimeters and measurements are not equal. The size is measured on a flat-head tool straight across the flat edge. On a ball-headed tool, think about it like this. Think about cutting that ball in half and then measuring it across. Yeah, that's not the same. The well-known heavy ball tools that are usually the blue-handled ones that are sold in these beginner kits, these are made for clay. If you would actually take these and push them into clay, the measurements make perfect sense, but we're not doing that. We're dipping the tip, and the tip only, into paint. Just something to keep in mind. Well, there you have it. The secrets are revealed. Now, once you know these 4 things, you're not really going to need to buy patterns anymore. You should just need the math, right? So which one's your favorite? Personally, I love the bloom. I hope you've enjoyed this video today, and hey, you know what? If you learned something, and if you've made it this far, please make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and check out the other how-tos and some of the calming dot art I have to offer on the channel. Take care, guys, and we will see you next time. Happy dotting!